Welcome to the Startempire Wire Founders Podcast, where we make entrepreneurial founders a top priority. Each episode features risk takers, business builders, community shapers, institutional and government supporters in our local startup ecosystem. Tune in weekly to hear all about what's happening with the movers and the shakers of Southern California's Inland Empire and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Founders Podcast. Today I am with a founder here locally. He lives in Murrieta, business out of Murrieta. His name is Keshawn Cupid, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself. He's also going to tell us about what's going on with his business. Who is he? So welcome to the show, Keshawn. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. You know, it's a beautiful Labor Day weekend. We're supposed to be home resting, but like as the entrepreneurs, it doesn't really apply to us as entrepreneurs, right? So we got to be able to grind every day to be successful.
Yes. All right. So tell us, who are you? Who are you?
Well, as you mentioned before, my name is Keshawn Cupid. Yeah, Cupid, just like the Valentine's Day guy, the little kid that flies around with a wing. So I'm originally from the Caribbean. I was born in St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands, but I grew up south in another island that's called St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And while I was there, I grew up with my parents, and it was mostly agricultural business. Mm-hmm. My father's a pastor, my mom's justice of the peace, and growing up there, that's where I got the first bug for entrepreneurship. And that's when my dad used to send me out every Saturday with a big basket of all the fruits and vegetables that, he got from the land that didn't sell to the wholesale market. I will go door to door selling food. Wow. As a kid growing up, that wasn't the most elegant thing. But after the first 2 to 3 weeks, I was just bitten with the bug of selling.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my dad used to give me about 20 bags, because my dad has we call it heavy handed. Being a pastor, he was always generous, and he will pack the bags as much as possible, and he would sell it for $2, which is about 50 cents in American dollars, US dollars.
Wow. And
I realized and said, you know what? I want to make my own money here. So I look at the market and I rebag what my dad did. So if you give me 20 bags, I'll have 60 bags. Right? I did tell him this years ago after I left home, and he said, "Well, you owe me a lot of money then." So, but what I learned, the reason I'm telling you this story is I stopped going around selling, and what I did from Monday to Friday, I will, on my way to school, I will stop and talk to the neighbors and be like, "Hey, I got this product. I'm coming on Saturdays."
Yes.
So by the time Saturday came around, I was already sold out. I was just delivering.
Wow.
So I knew who to go to, when to go to, and how much to take.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a factor of me going around asking, "Hey, do you want to buy?" They already purchased. I'm just dropping off. And
wow.
That's something that, I really liked. But
that's smart. That is super smart.
Oh yeah. But
go ahead.
I left the Caribbean, and I graduated high school. I left the Caribbean, went to Florida, and I was there 17 years old, and I couldn't find a job there. Nobody wanted to hire a 17-year-old kid. So, I looked up, the military came knocking. I joined the Navy, and in the Navy, I did pretty well. But then I retired early, medical retirement, after 12, 13 years.
Yes.
I took the medical retirement and I ventured into the restaurant business because I can cook. I thought I was the best. I didn't really understand that it's going to be difficult as an entrepreneur to be the chef and also to expand your business. I was trying to do both. Okay. I did that for 2 years, very hard work, but then I sold the restaurant and I got involved in corporate America. But while I was in the military, I learned this skill that's called Lean Six Sigma. We call it airspeed, business deployment, continuous improvement. But I learned that skill in the military, and it always intrigued me that, it's so welcoming in the civilian world. So I got a job doing that really in the civilian world. And I was saving companies millions and millions of dollars every year.
Wow.
You know, and I will get that 3% annual raise, right? You know, which is coming to like $900. And it's not for the fact of the money, it was just that I will be seeing a lot of companies laying off people. And I'm like, yeah, you just saved $10 million. You just saved $20 million. So, but there was also one side to it, that I was working for those companies and I was a little bit limited, right?
Okay.
I was very limited in what I was doing then. At the same time, I was undergoing kidney failure. So I was on dialysis. I used to do dialysis for 12 hours a day.
Wow.
And then work and travel for my work. And nobody ever knew I was on dialysis. So once I was working for this company and they were paying me a wage. And then another company came and said, hey, we'll double that.
Oh.
And I realized, well, I'm doing something right. And I was headhunted. But then when I went to the other company, we did it for a while. And then I realized, listen, this is something that I can do on my own and have more input and be able to offer my services across a wider spectrum. Because I was just pigeonholed to one type of industry. Right? I wanted to work in healthcare. I wanted to work in finance. I wanted to work in government, manufacturing. So by starting my own business to offer my service allowed me to navigate all major industries.
Wow.
And so that was one of the key reasons. I have my wife's support. My wife, she said, I've been married to my wife 20 years. She was there with me in the military when I was an E1. And E1 is the lowest grade for those of you who don't know. An E1 in the military is the lowest grade you could possibly be. You can't get lower than that.
Okay.
And she told me, she said, you want to start your own business? I'm like, yeah. And she was like, okay, ramen noodles ain't that bad, So she said, okay, so we could buy a big stack of noodles.
Wow. That's awesome.
I had that support.
That's a good support, man.
I had that support from day one, right? And so it really helped me out, plus as I started the business, I had a client to this day, they took a chance on me.
Yeah.
All right. They took a chance on me and they gave me my first job.
Yes.
And, that was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow.
And it's a very, how to put it, it was a trial. And they started paying me at below market.
Yes.
Way below market. And I'm still working with that client today.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have never went back to negotiate any contract because they were the one who gave me my first introductory to business. And I owe everything to them.
That's
so they
awesome.
took a risk. They took a risk when nobody else did.
Wow. Man, I love it. So can you tell us what Modern Kaizen, tell us about the name.
Yeah. So the name Kaizen is two-part. Kaizen. It means to improve oneself daily, right? So in what we do, Lean Six Sigma, you will hear that word all the time. Kaizen, continuous improvement. It's actually being mistranslated. I spent 10 years of my life in Japan. All my kids are born in Japan. Japanese is their first language. My wife is Japanese. So, and I love the Japanese culture because continuous improvement is a part of their day-to-day culture.
Yeah.
So I took the name Kaizen, which means to improve daily, and add modern on top of it. Because this concept has been around since the Toyota production system back in the 50s, 60s. So the modern on top of it is to utilize modern tools, modern technology, but also respect the generation.
Yeah.
The modern generation, Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, whatever it is, you have to shift the tide.
Yes.
So how can we improve? So the idea is, what does a baby boomer consider improvement versus what does a Gen X consider improvement, a millennial, and now a Gen Z? So the idea is we are able to work across generation, across industry, utilizing now.
Wow.
Right? Utilizing now.
Okay. The Inland Empire startup ecosystem industry is tremendously fragmented. A few top-tier hubs, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego, are well covered by media, events, and data platforms. Finding reliable information relevant to startups or the tech industry in the Inland Empire is extremely difficult. As a result, startups can't scale fast enough. Investors are having a hard time finding the right deals, and corporates can't find the right companies to partner with for their innovation activities. Startempire Wire, the leading Inland Empire startup publication, is providing the Inland Empire startup ecosystem with the most accurate, engaging business and financial data, events, and news. Our reach of entrepreneurs, C-level executives, angels, VC investors, startup employees, key management at innovative corporates, and big tech is the solution for your B2B or B2C needs. As we build out our platform, we're looking for partners. This is your opportunity to get in on the ground level. If you're looking to align yourself with the local and growing startup and tech ecosystem of the Inland Empire, we have created the platform to get your name noticed and the opportunity for you to grow the recognition of your brand. Contact us today for availability and pricing options. We look forward to our partnership with you. Awesome. So working across all the generations right now, utilizing now, tell us in depth some of the things that your startup or what you offer. Tell us in depth, what do you do? Like what type of training and all of that stuff?
Yeah, so I'll start with the organizational side and I transition to the individual offering that we have.
Okay.
So from an organizational standpoint, we offer process improvement development workshops. Okay. What we do there, we actually go in and listen to the voice of the customer. Sometimes the customer might be telling us stuff verbally,
yes,
but we are able to go in and understand truly what they're saying versus what they need and how it's tying to their mission, vision statement. So they might be saying, yeah, we need this and this and that. And the first thing I ask them is, hey, okay, what is your mission statement? What is your goal and objectives for this year?
Okay.
And they said, well, we need this. And I said, okay, because we don't want to offer somebody the flavor of the month because it sounds good.
Right,
we actually want to go and give you true value, right? So we go in there and we do an assessment. We do an in-depth assessment to show them where they at.
Okay.
And then we work out to say, okay, where can we to improve? And then we take a pilot area because we want to show that, hey, we can actually improve this area. We don't take up the whole organization at once. We want to build in, we want to have the team members also engage in it, right?
Okay.
So we do these workshops, we do these events, and our goal is to make sure that the organization get their return. So we walk into the organization and we give them 3 key metrics up front. We say, first metric says, we can increase your quality by 50 percentage points. Whatever you're doing right now, we can reduce the key effect by 50%. Yeah. And then I said, really? I said, trust me, yes, we can. The second one is, we can improve your throughput by 40 to 50%. So in other words, you can make my products faster by 40 to 50%? I said, yes. Yeah. And then the third one, we look at a safety burden. We can reduce their safety burden by 50%.
That's huge.
And why do we look at those 3 key metrics? And we say, listen, if your employees are working safely, and when we talk about safe, we're talking about 3 types of safe: emotional, physical, psychological. Right? Employees are happy to come to work. Nobody's screaming at them, yelling, right? They're physically safe. Nothing is going to fall on them. Right? We want to make sure if that employee is happy and want to be at work, they're going to actually produce a good quality product. Look at the quality and say, hey, let's look at the standardization process. We want to reduce that amount of ambiguity of the process. In other words, how do you build this? How do you manufacture this? How do you provide this service? So we look at all these processes. We are a process-driven organization, and we say, okay, we can fix this here. And once we improve the quality, that means there's maybe less than 10% defects.
Yeah.
And instead of having to redo stuff over again, have that ambiguity in the process, the lead time actually shrinks itself. Right?
Okay.
It just keeps shrinking. You're faster. Without even trying to be, you're faster.
Because you're working on constantly improving the process, right?
That's what it is. So the employees come in and they have this we call it the Kaizen eyes. They're always looking around. I always tell the team, I said, when you work with us, one thing is going to happen is that you're going to be going to stores, to the airports, and you're going to be saying, I got to improve this process. It might become a little bit annoying,
Yeah,
right. But the airport, you see like 5 people saying, come next. And I'm like,
wow.
Why can't we put a sign up there that says next and it illuminates to the person?
Wow.
Your brain is just blowing, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. A lot of time we drive by restaurants and there's a long line outside the restaurant and they're saying, oh, this is good, I have a long line. Well, I'm saying, look at all your customers outside. Your money's just sitting outside. And the customers are not going to want to go back because they have to wait such a long time.
Right.
All right. So, but some people don't mind the waiting, right? But I'm looking at it from a practical standpoint.
Right. And is it like an efficiency standpoint too?
Yeah, it's an efficiency, but we want to maintain that level of quality. That level of quality has to be there. So how can I be more efficient and have that quality? So that's what we focus on, all right? So when I tell the CEOs, the managers, what I deal with, I say, listen, in our field, people look at it from a pessimistic standpoint or an optimistic standpoint. They look at it as the glass is half full versus the glass is half empty. I don't look at no glass. My question to that is, the glass is the wrong size. It's neither half full or half empty. If you get the correct side glass, it just remove all the questions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no need to ask that question.
That's good. That's good.
But people say, we want to have some think outside of the box thinking. And my idea is, why do we have to pigeonhole stuff to a box? Why is the box there? That's modern Kaizen for people, right?
I love it. I love it.
We are doing disruptive continuous improvement.
Yeah.
And initially, some people might be hesitant, but we have found a way to give you that why. Why is this important?
Yes.
Right? We want to make sure that when team members show up to work, they want to be there.
Yeah.
Right? They're looking for ways to improve, right?
Yes.
In other words, our goal is not to motivate, because motivate is a temporary emotional feeling, right?
Yes.
We're shifting mindsets.
What's so cool, okay, I'm just going to say this right now, is that I just started on a book by James Clear called Atomic Habits. And it's all about processes, And every time I've done, you gave me the example of losing weight earlier. And who can lose weight? Nobody can lose weight. You can improve your processes and get the output of losing weight. Can you tell people about that illustration? I love that illustration.
Oh yeah. So in Six Sigma, there's a formula that we use in Six Sigma to problem solve. Yeah. But I took that formula and applied it to everyday things that we've done. Right so for Motorola, I know you guys invented Six Sigma. Don't sue me, okay? But I'm just spreading the message of that, okay? Right. So Six Sigma, the formula is called Y is equal to the function of X. In other words, the output of Y is dependent upon the input variables, which are your X's. So when somebody come and say, "Hey, Keshawn, I want to lose weight," or "I want to be rich,"
yeah.
You can't be rich. It's impossible for you to say, I want to be rich. Okay, be rich. What happened? Nothing is happening, right?
Gotta manifest it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They say manifesting, right? But as again, my dad's a pastor, so you understand. Faith without work is dead.
Yeah, right? There you go. There we go.
You can believe it, my friend, and be like, yeah, I'm gonna manifest this into the world. But where are your input variables? That's what we look at, right?
Yeah.
So from a more practical standpoint, we say, okay, you want to lose weight. Okay? Once they understand that they can't lose weight just like that, my next question is, if you want to lose weight, well, what are the input variables?
Yes.
Well, I need to get a good night's sleep. I need to work out. I need to eat right. And there's so many more things you can do. But we want to get it down to the vital few. In other words, what are the top 3 things that you have to do? So I might need to exercise. I might need to eat healthy. And I might need to get an adequate rest. Okay? So let's say those 3 things. Exercise, eat healthy, get rest. If I exercise daily or on a routine, and if I eat healthy, if I get rest, a byproduct of doing those 3 things is weight loss.
Weight loss.
Now, flip the script here. Let's flip the script here. It not only works in the positive aspect, right? If I show up to work late, if I spend all my day looking at Facebook, and if I continue to berate my employees, what's going to happen?
Lose job.
You're not going to be successful.
You might you might lose an employer.
That I tell people, it works both ways.
That's good. That's really good.
So that's the thing. So like I have this quote on my desk. I don't know if you can see it right here. What it says is to
dream big,
and make it happen.
Right?
It's not just dream big, right? But the make it happen part is what I look at most on a day to day, right? If I'm going to do something, I have my output. I do have my output, but I focus on my inputs.
Yes.
Because those are actionable items that I can have an impact on. And if I could touch that and shift that, transform that, then I know I have a good output.
Okay. So as for your business model, are you doing different types of events, personal consulting? Are there ways that you're scaling this? Tell how does this work?
My business model is very unique, right? It's very unique. And I have a lot of mentors. Like one of my most important mentors is Jay-Z, Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't know me. But I know him.
Yeah.
And he's my mentor. He
probably
will say, who is this crazy guy? But hey, Sean Carter, you are my mentor. You know what I'm saying? It's written in my book.
That's
one of my mentors. Meaning that I look at successful people and I try to see how did they scale their business. All right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to learn their mistakes over. I hate learning mistakes. I tell my kids, I said, it took me X amount of years to get to here at this level.
Yes.
You should do this in quarter the amount of time.
Yes.
Because I don't want you to learn the mistakes. I will teach you what not to do. I did. That I spend a lot of time going in circles, right?
Right.
That's one of the biggest things in the business. So in our business model, we learn from the recession. We learn from COVID. We learn from economic downturn, inflation, political agendas and stuff like that. And we realize that it only takes one action to destroy an entire industry or stifle an entire industry.
Yeah.
So we have different business models. So we have a business model where we train, we certify individuals at all level of Lean Six Sigma.
Okay.
White belt, green belt, yellow belt, black belt, master black belt. And we have teamed up with an accredited body, which is the Council for Six Sigma. And I love that accredited body because it's worldwide recognized.
Yeah.
And we have validated our courses.
That's awesome.
We actually, to get training with us, you're going to do a project. If you don't have a project to do, we will supply you. We will make a project up. And we will add all kind of roadblocks in there. And teach you how to navigate that roadblock.
That's
right?
awesome.
Because we want you to get that real experience.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
We want you to get that real experience. So we do that with the individuals.
Okay.
With the organizations, not only do we do the Lean Six Sigma, but we also have the leadership concept.
Okay.
We have 121 different soft skill skills, and all of our soft skill leadership course are with workbooks. So you're not the PowerPoints. The PowerPoint is maybe 10 slides, but the entire day you're working with us is practical applications.
Wow.
Yeah. So we teamed up with a lot of different organizations, and one of the organization that we teamed up with is called Direct Action. It's run by my buddy, a good friend of mine, John McLean, retired Navy SEAL, who trains young people before they join the military.
Okay.
On the concept of leadership and that physical approach.
Okay.
Okay. So that is really important. So we work with him and we offer, these leadership to the different classes, to the different schools, to the different hospitals.
Yes.
Just to ensure that not only the process improvement section, but that mindset.
The mindset.
As I was mentioning earlier, I told you offhand that our book comes out on September the 12th.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, and it's all about the concept of how you think. What is your mindset?
Yes.
Right? There's a lot of research out there on mindset, but we came up with 10 steps, practical application to make that transition from an inward way of thinking to an outward way of thinking. In other words, you go to the company and you might be like, I'm going to be the vice president in 4 years and I'm going to work hard. Oh, I'm going to utilize these people to make me better. That's all inward thinking. So you want to shift it to say, we're going to be doing this to help the organization, to help the entire team to grow.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So when there's a situation, we have a better way of solving that true root cause.
Yeah.
When somebody tell me, I have a lot of people who works in whether hospitals or manufacturing or in the service industry, and they said, "Oh, Keshawn, I've been firefighting all day." And I said, "Which academy did you go to?" And they was like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, in order for you to be firefighting, you got to be a fireman."
Right.
I thought you was the VP of operations. So why are you firefighting?
Fighting fires.
Yeah, why are you fighting fires? Right? I mean,
right.
What did you do? What did you do to fight the fire? I'm like, which extinguisher did you use? Did you use a PPK? Did you use a halon compressor? And I kind of make a joke towards it because I want them to understand. Again, you remember you said it earlier, right? You manifest it. You
manifest. Yep.
It's not acceptable as part of your day-to-day job.
That's right.
You don't get hired to fight fires.
That's
right. You get hired to do your job description.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Right. So that's where that mindset comes in.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
You gotta get over the.
Yes. So tell us about some of the growing pains you've experienced while building Modern Kaizen, where you currently at in the process of growth.
Yeah. Oh man, growing pains. I'm telling you, I could write a book on the pains as an entrepreneur. I tell people this all the time, right? A lot of people want to be an entrepreneur, but nobody wants to entrepreneur.
Ooh.
What I mean by that is people look at entrepreneur as a noun. I look at it as a verb. All right? It's 6 p.m. right now. We're here talking.
Yeah. We're entrepreneuring. Yeah.
Yeah, that's entrepreneuring right there, right?
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
I'm in my office at midnight trying to verify this contract or this bid that I submit to the government. So some of the growing pains that I've started with, in entrepreneurship is that, and it's something that I'm working on myself.
Yes.
You know, my wife said it to me, my team member said it to me, is that since it's my business, my family's business, is that I normally think that everybody who works with me or who works for us should care as much as we do about the business.
Yeah.
Right? It's very passionate to see, because when I was working in companies and people were like, you know, taking extended breaks and stuff like that, you know, and you overlook stuff like that.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
Then you look at your payroll every 2 weeks and you're like, you might tell a team member, hey, we need to shift this. And they were like, well, you know, I don't want. I'm like, come on. They don't have that same fire as you.
Ownership. That level of ownership
is not here, right? But I have a great team now. I'm gonna tell you this, right? I have a great team now that today is September the 5th. Yeah. And I told my team members, nobody is working today. Right?
Oh, And
I got a text message from one of my operations specialists, and she said, oh, I'm just texting you to let you know that I'm working today because I have the time. It's a payday off.
That's awesome.
Like, no, spend the time with your family. She's like, well, my family is sleeping and I want to get this done. So I'm going to do it. I'm like, oh, okay.
I can't stop you. That's awesome.
I can't stop you. So that makes me, right? It makes me, okay, this person really care about the growth of the company.
Yeah.
I also want to make sure that their work-life balance is there.
That's
I don't want them to get burned out, right?
That's right.
My wife, my partner is saying, don't make your employees get burned out.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main growing pains. But the second growing pain that we have is, you know, it's like when we started about how do we grow? How do people trust us? How do we get that finance to grow?
Yeah.
And that was one of my biggest hurdles. Oh, how long have you been in business? We just started. Mm-hmm. Where is your clients? We haven't had any yet. And they were like, well, come back when you have. And I'm like, well, if you hire me now, I'd rather hire new companies because they have much to prove.
Yeah, they have a lot to prove. Yes, that's true.
So they want to prove it. So
that's true.
So that's one of the biggest things I used to have with, but it's like people never. And that's why I said this company, they took a chance on us.
Yeah, and that's great.
And now they're our biggest marketing tool because they always tell people about us, and we will say, hey. And they will say, well, make sure you have time for us still.
Right? I know, right? That's great.
And I really appreciate them. Really appreciate them for doing that for us. And because, so back to one of the growing pains is the finances. So I told my wife, I said, you know what? I have a vision. I'm trusting in myself. And I probably did the thing that you shouldn't do. I relied on Visa, Amex, MasterCard, Discovery, and I funded my own business. I threw everything in it to myself.
But, you know, honestly, if you're building something bigger than yourself, I personally believe you should do it. It's not consumer debt. It is building something that's going to last for generations, you know?
Sure. So, you know, I did that, right? And as I said, we're moving to an office, a brand new office now. Mm-hmm. And I'm foreseeing steady growth.
Yes.
Because we are not just offering a one and done. As I said, the modern is always looking for something else, right?
Yes, yeah.
They're looking for something else. And it's just like how we wrote this book. Mm-hmm. The book was not part of the business model, but it became part of the business model when we were working with the Veterans Affairs. And they're asking us for this training. And we start researching this training and the level of content. Because when I did my PhD or my EDD, right? When I did my EDD, it was, well, Keshawn, you can do a qualitative recitation, or you can do a quantitative or a mixed method, or you can do a case study, which is the work that you do.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So I was like, Roger that. Let's do a case study. And I went out and I said, it's 2022. I look back at what past research, and I was like, you know what? I don't think a lot of it is viable today in a specific field, mind you.
Okay.
So audience, please be it's a specific field. In other words, I wrote a paper on the depth of instant gratification. I wrote a paper for a company, and I wrote it and I give it to them. And their biggest complaint was, we want to improve, but our employees want that instant gratification.
Yeah.
So they want us to do that. We did the Lean Six Sigma training, we did all that, but I wanted to give the management team something. I said, listen, I want to write this article, I want to write this, and I want to give it to you, and you can have it and utilize it. And I said, because I have kids, all my kids were born after 2000.
Yeah.
And when my child made his first step, my wife and I was like, oh yeah. My son come home, he hit he did something extraordinary, and we celebrated.
Yeah.
We went to the baseball game, he hit the ball, we celebrated.
Celebrate.
What we were inadvertently doing is removing that time between doing something and getting something. So we were the one who was giving that instant feeling to the kid, right?
Oh, yes, yeah.
So we're removing instant gratification. We're removing the tool, and instant gratification is what we were delivering to these kids, and they grew up with that.
Yes.
So, hey, Dad, I got an A. Oh, let's go celebrate.
Wow.
I did that as a parent.
Wow.
So my kid's in the marketplace, and when my kid do something good, and they say, hey, you're not gonna cheer me on or tell me I did a good job, he'd be like, whoa,
that's
why?
so good. Oh my goodness.
We did that as parents.
Wow. You know what? I never thought of it. I never thought of that way. Yeah. Training for instant gratification. That's profound. Yeah. I mean, because
everybody, you ever said that everybody get a medal, all right? We did that. Who give them the medal?
Wow. Oh man.
I used to always tell my wife, I told my wife one time, I was like, oh man, my son, he'd rather be on the games than being outside. And she said, who bought him the game? Right?
Wow. Well, and I think parents they want to provide that better life, but they don't really think out some of those things. Like, I never would have thought of what you just told me ever in my life. I'd be the one to be like, oh, you did a good job.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Now put that into business. Put that into your business. And
like
with your new employees.
So right, and so you're basically saying it's that people are so hooked on instant gratification that they want to be applauded for just doing their job.
Right.
And not beyond their job. Is that what you're saying?
It's not something that they're doing on purpose.
Oh, it's not on purpose. Yeah. It's just training. It's that training. Wow.
It's that muscle memory. You're doing combat. You're doing martial arts. It's natural for them, right?
Man, I would tell you, if anyone can really hear what you're saying and they understand what you're saying, like, this is worth the weight in gold in the podcast right now.
I'll give you another example that we do in companies. We say, listen, I always tell the CEOs I said, listen, are you over 40? He's like, yeah, I'm over 40. I said, well, you're over 40, I can relate. I said, when you were dating back in the days, how did you date? How did you date? You identify a girlfriend you want to take her out. How did you do it? Well, I used to get a mixtape and I make a mistake, right? And then I used to write a letter, then I mail it or I give it to a friend. Then I wait to get that reply back, right? And I get that reply back a week later. I'm tying up the house phone, the one phone at home. I'm tying up the phone. The phone ring. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta talk.
Yeah.
I said, how does Gen Z date? Look at the date. I'm swiping.
That's so true. Oh man. Wow.
So think about that in business. Put it in your business concept, right?
Ooh.
The team hit the target of 200 parts a day.
Yeah.
Well, nobody cared that we hit the target every day. Wow. I had an employee from a major company. He was on time every day of the year for work, and the company had a process where they had a system where you were on time. Every month they'll give you a $25 Amazon gift card.
Yeah.
And he had all 12 Amazon gift cards.
Okay.
He said, "Oh, Keshawn, I think I need a raise. And I said, oh, okay, why? I said, well, I won every gift card last year for being on time.
Oh my goodness.
And before I said anything to him, it hit me.
Yeah.
I said, so you showed up to work on time. And that justify a pay raise. But I didn't say that to him, right? I was thinking to myself, I said, and he's a young kid. He's 19 years old.
Wow. Is that in your book? Are you talking about this stuff in your book?
It is in there.
Man, this is good. This is good. I'm excited to get this book because I'm going to tell you, like, this is so relevant to today. It really is. It's so good.
Yeah. So you might have this person, you might have this baby boomer or this Gen X who's working with this 19-year-old kid, and you'd be like, well, such and such, well, you shouldn't be awarded. And I'm like, oh, like.
I mean, to be honest, okay, just doing your job, to me, it should be a reward in and of itself, right?
Right, it should be, right?
And if you do something extraordinary, okay, that deserves a reward. But like, you're blowing my mind here with, I'd never thought about it because it's like the bar is very low.
Yeah, it is. We shift the bar. It's been on a steady decline. I know another part of my, and I do all of this training. People are like, well, what does that have to do with Lean Six Sigma? Culture. That is the culture. That's where we dive into.
Yeah.
To help understand. Like I tell people all the time, I say, listen, right now we are all celebrating SpaceX, they're launching, NASA, they can't get the rocket back to the moon. And people say, oh, they're working hard. And I said, when was the first moon landed? I said, that was in 1969. Then what happened in the 70s? We got into orbit with the space station, International Space Station. Uh-huh. Then what happened after that? We shut down the NASA program. The last 50 years.
Steady decline.
So now we are celebrating going back to the moon.
Getting back to where we should have been.
That's baseline.
Wow.
We are celebrating going to baseline and nobody's realizing
that.
Hey, what did we do for the last 50 years? Last 60 years, right? So the same thing with businesses, right? Like I go to a business and they're celebrating, oh, Keshawn, we hit our 80% yield. And I said, your target for quality is 80%. Okay, so, and that's in your budget for the year. Yeah, that's in our budget. I said, okay, roger that. So if we get you from 80% to 100%, you're gonna give all the employees a raise with that money, right? Because you already budget, that says a loss.
Right.
It's the same concept. How do you shift your mindset? So we look at that as two types of problem. A level 1 problem.
Okay.
You need to get to the target that you set.
Okay.
A level 2 problem is getting from your target to the ideal state, which is 100%.
100%, yeah.
Right? And it can be achievable.
And you're not even talking about going beyond the initial target. You're just hitting the target.
No, I'm not even want to go. I said, let's just get to the target, right? Let's just do it right. Just like a kid, show up to work on time.
Yeah.
Celebrate me. Well, you're supposed to show up to work.
Well, okay, so tell us a little bit about processes versus like a process-based mindset versus a goal-based mindset,
Right. So the idea of it, when a goal-based mindset, you say, I want to achieve this goal. Now they have hundreds of ways to achieve this goal, right?
Yeah.
You can walk from here to Canada. If you keep walking, you're eventually going to get there.
Yeah.
You might go to South America and make a U-turn and come back up. Right. That's the goal.
Yeah.
But the process, when we look at a process, we are looking at the best repeatable way to do it that gives you safety, quality, performance, and everything all in one.
Yes.
How can we do this to get that predictability?
Yes.
This is the best way to do it when we're looking at it from a process standpoint, right? Now, I was watching a speech one time with the Secretary of Defense, and this was back in 2008. 2007, Secretary of Defense, I forgot his name, but it was in the military, and he came and he did a speech on Lean and Six Sigma.
Okay.
And he said, oh man, this is the most beautiful tool that he have ever worked with in his entire career. He said the only thing that he advised us to do is not to take it at home. He said one day, he said he used to watch his wife make him breakfast every day for the years and years of marriage. And he said, one day I told my wife I could reduce that time in half. He said now his breakfast, he not only reduced it by half, he reduced it by, I think, 75%. But there's only one problem. He now makes his own breakfast.
That's what I was thinking.
So you have to be mindful of where you use this tool, right?
Where you
so I
use
always tell my team members, and so listen, it's a dangerous tool.
Yes, yeah.
Because you could be called that guy.
Yeah.
All right?
Oh, wow.
But that's why you want to get the organizational mind shift to say, hey, this is good. So coming back to the whole process improvement in Japan, everybody who's going this way, walk on this side of the street. Everybody who's going this way, work on this side of the street. If you're going up and down the stairs, there's a divider in the stairs that you know which side. It ain't nobody rushing back and forth to go down.
Yeah, and you say in Japan they're very oriented towards order and these types of things. Yeah.
Because Japan is the size of California. But Japan has half the population of the United States.
Oh.
But here's the fun part. Only 20% of Japan is populated. The rest is mountainous.
Wow.
So talk about being efficient as part of life.
Wow.
And the concept of lean has come from Japan.
Yes.
So we took the concept, but we need to also understand why the concept works so well there.
Yeah, that's great.
Because it's ingrained in their culture.
It's ingrained in. See, and that's context that, like, you know, people take that and appreciate. Man, this is amazing.
Yep.
All right, so tell us. All right, what are some of your short-term goals? 2 of your short-term goals for Modern Kaizen.
So our first short-term goal is growth-based. So we want to be able to offer our services across the United States. So we're looking forward to open up our Georgia branch.
Okay.
For the East Coast.
Nice.
Because not only we go after a lot of government work, government contracts.
Okay.
But we also work with a lot of civilian companies, corporate America.
Yes.
We want to work with those small businesses that don't have, the state has a lot of grants, and they have a lot of different funding for these small businesses, right?
Right.
So we want to help utilize those and help develop, those small businesses too. And at the same time, give jobs to a lot of veterans out there also.
Okay. So have you heard of the iHub scholarship here in California?
What's it called?
It's the iHub.
No.
iHub 2. So iHub 2 was like a huge grant program that came out from the state of California. I think it's still being competed for, but the state of California provides something like, man, I can't even remember. It's a large amount of money to develop cores of places where you can train businesses and things like that. I have to send you the article. We wrote an article about it.
I'll be on the website after this looking for it. So.
Yes.
I'm looking for it. If it can help a company, can help us, and we want to be able to help as much veterans as possible get jobs too.
Okay.
So we want to train them so they can go out and in turn train the communities, right? So it's something that help us. We will gladly, take advantage of it.
Awesome. All right. So tell us about your 3-year, 5-year, and 10-year goals.
I have a 3-year goal, but I can't share it here on this podcast, right?
Oh, okay.
Because I'm giving my competition,
don't want to. Yeah, I get you.
But our 3-year, we have a goal where we are actually our long-term goal, a 3 to 5 year goal, is really to become an academic institution where you can actually get college credits.
Oh, nice.
Coming to our training, right? That's something that we are working on, and to be a major prime player in the veterans organization, in the federal government world.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So we've been on a lot of government contracts. We won a couple, and we want to make sure that we keep being that go-to for the government because we have that reward system.
Yes.
Now, I can tell you one goal that we are working on in collaboration with Direct Action is that we are going to be offering for people who want to join the military. We are working with Direct Action and Chase Bank.
Chase Bank. Okay.
Chase Bank, from the first part of it is from a financial acumen aspect, right?
Okay.
We want to make sure that people are financially savvy.
Yes.
So we're offering those training through Chase Bank at no cost to people.
Very awesome.
Understand the basic concept of budgeting,
Yes.
cash flow, all
Yes.
that stuff. And then the leadership and development to Direct Action, where we are going to be going from city to city, working with members who want to not only physically develop themselves, but mentally.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
That mental aspect also. So that's coming out in the next year.
Okay.
It's something that we're still working on. But we have a major one.
A major one.
It has to do with climate change. That's as much.
Okay.
It has to do with climate change. So stay away from my project, people. If you're hearing about the climate change one, it's
you can
aspect, right?
You can tell me offline. You can tell me offline.
I'll tell you offline. Then you'll be like, what? You'll be like,
all right. So 10 years. What about in 10 years? Like the very big name goal. Like, what do you want to be in 10 years?
Yeah. So in 10 years. What we want to do is we want to incorporate our nonprofit into this profit company for profit,
Okay.
right? And
Yes.
we want to make sure that our veterans who are leaving the military are able to come to our organization and immediately go into high-paying jobs. Because that's something
awesome.
that I spend half my time upon with these
Yes.
companies, offering free training for the veterans
Yes.
so they can go with it. Because, as I said, I go to a lot of different companies and I talk to a lot of different HR, CEO managers,
Right.
and everybody tell me one thing: oh, we love the veterans. And
Yes.
and when somebody tell me they love the veterans, I'm a veteran. I look at it like, okay, how much do you love the veteran?
Yeah. What are you actually doing? Yeah.
An entry-level job for somebody who did 20 years in the military and now coming out and working $18 an hour.
Yeah.
Or you're going to give them the same advantages or the same, platform as one of your vice president.
Right.
So that's what we're looking at, right? We want to make sure that the veterans are ready to be able to do that as they come out. Because, I've seen companies, no name mentioned, big retail companies have commercials so that they love the veterans and they hire the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's all about stacking shelf. Nothing against that.
Right,
I used to work at Target. This is how my mind works.
Yes.
I wanted to understand how Target stack their shelf every day so
Yes.
that you can go in and get the product.
Yeah.
So I took a job at Target stocking shelf at night.
Mm.
I did. I took a job at Target
Wow.
for like $11 an hour. I was stacking shelves. And
Yes.
I understand the truck might come in and if they sold one bottle of water, there's
Yes.
one bottle of water on the truck and I put it back.
Oh. Yeah.
But I wanted to, so I will go in there and I
learn the process. Yeah. Wow.
So I look at all those stuff, right? So there's no hard feelings towards those jobs, but my goal is for the veterans, who have a degree, they come out of the military, do 20 years expecting,
Right.
to be welcome with open arms. I want to give you that tool so you can go out there and not just check a number to say, oh, I got my organization helped 100 veterans get jobs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you, what was your nominal pay rate? Right? If your average pay rate was $100,000, then by all means, good job.
Yeah.
If your average pay rate was 40 grand a year, then we have a problem.
Right. Isn't that like part of Kaizen with the belt levels, get different pay levels,
That's
right?
what it is. So if you go to salary.com and you type in Lean Six Sigma, it gives you all the belt level rating. Like a master black belt would make 150 grand. A black belt 120. Green belt 80 grand.
I love
right?
it. Yeah,
Yellow belt 60 grand. And it's always that learning. You go in there because the goal of it, the companies are hiring you to save them money.
Yep.
So they're investing in you up front.
Yeah.
Right? And coming out of the military, it's that you are flexible.
Yeah.
That flexibility is crucial.
Yes.
Right? being able to say, you know what, I'm working on this project, and the company say, you know what, Keshawn, market dictate that we shift.
Right.
All right. I'll give you an example what I mean by that. All right, and again, for your listeners and viewers who are listening to this,
yes.
if this happened to you, I apologize, but if not, but we're gonna do better next time as a group, right? Supply chain shortages.
Yes.
Somebody tell me, oh man, we have a shortage in supply chain, and I'm like, I could have told you that 2 years ago. Who did not see the supply chain shortages coming? All right, who didn't see this coming? Right. It was right there in front of our eyes.
Yes.
Now the next one is, somebody told me that, and I was having a discussion yesterday. It's all about, Keshawn, the prices of produce in the stores are going up. Everything is going up. And I was having this conversation, and my friends, they like to egg me on because I'm a process guy, right? I'm that guy.
Yes.
I didn't do this on purpose, right? And I'm okay. So listen, okay. Here's my thought on that. Because my company also, we have contracts with the federal government where we provide meals to detainees.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice. So we all over the place. But I said, so you think the price of stuff in the store is not going to go up? I said, Roger. I said, well, what happened since COVID? What happened during COVID? Well, nobody wanted to work because they were getting free money. That's what they say, right?
Right.
I said, so in order to attract people, what do companies have to do? They have to raise the amount of money.
Yeah.
So if they can't attract people and they have to raise the money by $2-3 an hour, who do you think going to pay for that raise?
It's going to be passed off.
It's going to be passed on.
Yeah.
This thing, right? It has to go somewhere. The companies are not going to eat it. They're going to take a loss. So the consumer needs to buy the products.
Yep.
So therefore, guess what? You got to pass it. You got to take it. So in one hand, we're celebrating, my company is hiring with bonuses and stuff. But that money is going, it's a cycle. The world is a cycle. The continuous improvement performance is a cycle.
Yeah.
Right? It always starts with the customer and it's always going to end with the customer.
Wow.
Meaning that you as a customer, you want a better paying job. You demand more money.
Yeah.
Okay. Guess what happened? You as a customer going to end up buying that product at a higher rate. Right. It ends with you, start with you. Yeah. So I tell people, but well, no, that's where we comes into the company. Because companies say, oh man, my payroll went up by 10%. Now we look in the process to remove that 10% of that waste, that inefficiencies.
Right.
So therefore, they don't have to pass it on to the product pricing. So we look at that differently. We try to help people to understand that. And, sometimes some are like hesitant, but then afterward it's like, oh my God, that's facts. We're going to be honest with you, right? We're going to be blatantly honest with you. And we're going to show you how to grow your organization.
Man, I love it. So where can people find you at? Online, offline? When is the book coming out? I mean, like... Yeah,
so we have a website. It's called modernkaizen.com.
Okay.
Modernkaizen.com and MODERNKAIZEN.com and on LinkedIn, Keshawn Cupid and Modern Kaizen on LinkedIn. We have other platforms on Facebook, but we haven't been pushing a lot of content there. We're pushing most of our content on LinkedIn. We publish a weekly article. It's called a weekly digest every week where our goal is to give nuggets, try to get nuggets, golden nuggets out there every week based on our experience in industries, right? So look us up there. We just started pushing the book on LinkedIn. And we put excerpts on there. So if you keep reading, you probably could read the whole book by looking for all the excerpts, right, on LinkedIn.
No, but that's a smart way to market it, though. Putting out your excerpts, Yeah,
because I want you to look at it and see. I mean, I'm not telling you anything that I'm making up. I promise you, I'm not making up anything here. Everything that I'm telling you, it's in this book is going to be straightforward. We're coming out with our new book is coming out in October the 24th.
Okay.
And it's called Chasing the Target.
I like it. That's awesome.
Chasing the Target is all about the new heroin. I have an accent. Heroin,
Yeah.
that's a drug.
Heroin,
You know,
yeah, the new heroin, yeah, like chasing the dragon.
Yeah,
Oh,
so they're chasing the target. The new heroin that management is addicted to.
wow,
Yeah,
that's really good.
Because
That's really good. So it's about being goal oriented versus process oriented.
Yes, it is.
That's
like,
freaking
for example,
awesome.
Let's say I was working at this company, and this company had to make 450 products
Yeah.
every day. But each product was different. Each product took different amount of time.
Yeah.
So management would say, oh, we need to hit the goal. The goal is 450. And I said, 450 what? What if I make all of the products that have a long lead time? It might be 200.
Yes.
But management is not happy because I didn't hit 450, which is an arbitrary number. So we set these targets.
Yeah.
And we drive the team to these targets.
Yeah.
So what the team is going to do? Build all the easy stuff to hit the target. And then we're going to celebrate. And then tomorrow, we didn't hit the target and we're going to... So you're trying to figure out what's happening every day. So the idea is all about we're chasing the target, which is not right.
And you said that's
chasing the target.
That's book 2, or which book is
That's
coming
book
out?
2. That's book 2, October the 24th.
Okay, so the other one, okay, October 24th. And what's book 1? What is book 1?
Book 1 is September the 12th, which is called The Outward Mindset. It's going to be available on Amazon.
Wow.
We're self-publishing through Amazon.
Man, that's the way to go nowadays.
We're self-publishing to Amazon. I was like, you know what?
You guys are publishing 2 books, 2 books in 1 year.
No, we are going 1 book a month. That's a new target.
Oh,
because we have so much content.
wow.
And we're looking at it from a cultural side.
Yeah.
We're looking at it from a process side, a Six Sigma side. We're working with our partner in Direct Action to promote a book for the military, because a lot of our kids go into the special warfare community, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, my son is always telling me, don't tell them about it. My son went Spec Ops, special warfare, and he was like, as a kid, he's 18 years old, and I said, son, my only fear is that mindset. And he is like, what do you mean, Dad? I said, when I told you to go wash the dishes, you want to have a 20-minute conversation about washing the dishes. I said, what do you think going to happen in the military?
Right. Oh.
Ain't nobody got time for 20-minute conversation.
No.
But you're going to think as, oh, this is so stressful. And then over time, I saw the development in my son when I'm like, hey, Dad, you wash the dishes. Okay, Dad. He do the dishes. That's awesome. And then he come back and be like, hey, Dad, you not been washing the dishes for like the last 3 days. What happened to the other kids that you have in this house that eating free? Right? So, I don't mind you asking me, but that mindset of, you know, why waste? So that's the point. That's my boy with the military book that they're doing together. Is like, you know, am I ready?
Yes.
Is my mind ready? You can be able to do 100 push-ups. Yeah. But that's just, well, what can you do 100 push-ups when you're tired, you sleep deprived, you have sand all over you, you haven't eaten? That's where the mind's coming, right? Because your mind's your biggest enemy, but it's also your best friend.
Yes.
Right? Your mind's also your best friend, because you know, there's one thing in this world that I personally feel that you control. You control your in terms of your emotions, your action, right? Because I can wake up today and they can say, or the IRS say you owe them $10,000. I could start freaking out. I could say, okay, let's see where I owe them at. You have 2 ways to go about it, right? Right. Because your brain secretes this chemical. I'm a little nerd by the way.
I love it. No, I love it. This is exactly. I understand everything you're saying. If anybody got questions, they can, you know, type in and.
So it's just funny because I hired this guy from he's a Dr. Rogers. Shout out to Dr. Rogers, smartest Lean Six Sigma guy I know. Yeah. And he always started off by saying, no, I'm a nerd. And then he doesn't fit the typical description of a nerd, but when we sit and he start talking statistics, I'm like a kid. I'm like, oh my God, this is cool. All right. And I never fell in love with math until I really talked to this guy. And when he works and teaches, I attend the classes.
I love it. You know, and I, you know, like I said, everything that we talked about earlier, Keshawn, like you were blowing my mind. I was like, we got to get this on a podcast, man.
Oh yeah, man.
and
Definitely.
when you talk about your Dr. Rogers, I had a horrible math teacher. So me listening to someone who's passionate about it will make me passionate about it too. Yeah. So yeah, that's
my teacher, my statistic teacher. I don't know if you remember the commercial, dry eyes, wide eyes.
Yeah, the clear eyes.
I'm telling you, he was the leading statistician in the United States.
Wow.
Google him. I'm not going to tell you his name.
Okay.
That's exactly how he talks. So it's like, well, the difference between inferential statistics, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just lying here. But I wanted to learn, so I studied my own, right?
Yes, yeah.
But you have to make that learning fun, because
yes,
what I've realized is that I love teaching. When I teach Lean Six Sigma, there's two groups that we teach. We teach a group with nothing but executives, top management. Yes. And they actually care about why they're there, because they run the organization. We just had a group with nurses and faculties, and they want to be there and they're asking these challenging questions.
Yes.
Or you teach a class with a group of entry-level people who were told to be there.
Yeah.
Right? So they're coming and they're being resistant. I was working on a project with an organization, and we made some recommendation, and as we were talking in the report out, we were warned that there's this gentleman who's very resistant. And I said, if a student hasn't learned, then the teacher didn't do his job. That's just my philosophy.
Yeah.
So the student said, oh, you come in here and you're telling us what to do, and you don't understand how hard it is. And I said, you know what? You have a point. And I looked at the director of operation. I said, do you mind me working here for the next 2 weeks at no cost to your organization? I want to work on the production floor. What do we need to make this happen? You don't have to pay me.
Wow.
My insurance will cover me. I'll be on the floor, and I'm working with this gentleman, doing from start to finish every day for the next 2 weeks. And the employees say, oh, no, I don't want you working here with us. And I said, but you just told me I don't understand. I want to understand. And when I said that to the employee, he realized that, okay, you know what? Let's give him a chance.
Yeah.
If he's willing to show up and work, I always tell him, I said, don't let the PhD fool you.
Yeah.
My first job in the United States was picking up trash on the street.
Yeah.
I'm an AO. I'm a Navy guy.
Yes. Yeah.
So we know what we want to work, because you have to touch the product, or you have to do the service to understand.
To understand it. That's really good.
So we do that a lot, right? We don't just come in and say, oh, fix that. No.
Right.
We want to understand it.
That's
and
great.
We spend time researching. At the end of the day, our goal is to make sure that employee is a happy, productive employee, because it starts with that employee.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it's
all right. One last thing before we go. Can you give us the best business advice that you would like, the best piece of advice you can give to any startup, small business out there? What would that piece of advice be? I know it's only one.
Oh, I have one, but
okay.
Oh, I might be hating. I want to see these comments. So, when I started my business, right? Somebody told me this. Keshawn, you have to do what you are passionate about. And I learned what I'm passionate about. Some of the times, ain't no customer for it. Right?
Yeah.
I love making baskets, but if nobody's buying baskets,
who's buying? Yeah. That's
right?
So true. Yeah.
So my advice to people who want to start a business: start with the customer and work your way back. In other words, what is needed? What problem out there that needs to be solved?
Yeah.
Right? And then work your way backwards and say, hey, do I care about doing this? Is this aligned with my morals, my ethics, my values?
Yes.
Because it'll be easy for you.
Right.
Right. So if you like doing podcasts, like I'm saying, if you like doing podcasts, and there's a market for it.
Yes.
No, you can't say I'm going to do a podcast where everybody's doing the same topic. What is your niche? What's going to draw people to you? If I want to teach Lean Six Sigma, there's a lot of companies doing Lean Six Sigma. But what makes Modern Kaizen different? Well, you don't just get the Lean Six Sigma with us. You get that organizational leadership twist, right, with us. We want to make sure we're telling you this is the tool, but we're also telling you why should you use this tool and how this tool is going to impact you in your organization. So work backwards. Find a niche in the market, and then ask yourself, does this align with my values? Because at the end of the day, you have to be able to put in the work. You have to entrepreneur. Not be an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur. I love it.
Are you willing? Are you willing to sacrifice? You be like, you know what? I don't want to do this marketing, but I have to do it. Are you willing to go to these events? Are you willing to network? Are you willing? You know what I mean? To be able to do that, this is critical. Find a niche, and it aligns with your values. Something you can do. And then again, the biggest part of it is don't just do it for the money.
Right.
Don't just do it for the money, man. Don't do it for the money. It's a million business you can do for money.
Right.
Because at the end of the day is that I'm gonna leave you guys with a word, which is value. Value. Are you delivering value to your customer? And a lot of times people say, well, I'm delivering value. But value is from the customer's perspective.
From the customer's perspective.
Right? Is the customer, it's like, for example, when you go to Beverly Hills, to a restaurant in Beverly Hills, only 20% of your value is food. You're going there for the Beverly Hills ambience, the service, the view, whatever, the atmosphere, everything, right? And then the food, maybe the food. Because you might get you might get a better tasting food at Taco Bell. But you go for all these things, right?
It's that experience.
So that's the value. So the customer could say, well, we make great food. But if your waiter or waitress is very rude,
that's so true.
Those are the value, those are non-tangible value that I look at. So are you delivering value to your customer? And then understand the CTQs, which are the critical to quality, because your customer always tells you what are some requirements that they're looking for. And are you hitting those requirements? Remember, it's not what you think the customer wants. Because the customer know what they want. They're the one who's buying the service or buying the product.
Right.
Are you doing that?
It's exactly what they've expressed they want.
So I actually, the last thing I will tell you is that I just had a kidney transplant about 4 months ago, April, on Easter Sunday. And while I was there, I wrote an article, which I'm submitting to Harvard Business Review. They take it up. And the hospital is called Walter Reed Naval Medical Hospital, which is the President Hospital. And I wrote an article, and it's called "Never Go to Walter Reed."
Oh man!
And the doctors saw the article. They was like, "Really, Keshawn?" And I said, "Read it." And I said, when I checked into Walter Reed for my transplant, it was at 11 p.m. at night. There was a nurse waiting for me. She was so kind to my wife and I. They took us to make my wife check in. They got her the room. Everybody was so comforting. I went into the surgery. They were there. The rule said all visiting hours is end at 8 p.m. But my wife told them, I want to stay with my husband. The nurse was like, who's talking to me? I'm hearing voices. So in other words, she's like, I don't see nobody in this room. Right? So, and I have the doctors on text message, my nurses on text message. So I wrote, don't go to Walter Reed. Because once you go to Walter Reed, and I come back to California, and I'm going to some of these hospitals, I'm upset. My stress.
That's good. That's good.
So they were like, thank you, Keshawn, for saying that. But
it's a backwards.
That was the reason.
That's a backwards compliment. It's really catchy though. It's like a kind of a clickbaity,
So don't go there, because once you go there, every other hospital is going to be like, you're going to be real upset.
That's
right?
amazing.
You're going to be real upset when you go there, you know? So it's really good. I'm telling you, like, I'll share that article with you soon. Hopefully they publish it, because it's all about that customer service, man.
Yeah.
It's a major surgery, but I wasn't even worried about the surgery, because I know the doctors and the nurses, they had me as their, top priority.
Top priority. And congratulations on the transplant too. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, I just came back from there last week, because I told my doctor, I said, hey, I want to come back for a checkup. Yeah. And they said, oh, while you're here, we can do a biopsy, we can do this, we can do that. And in 3 days, they did all this stuff, and I'm back in California, feeling more better. And they said, yeah, just tell us when you want to come back, even though I have doctors here.
Yeah.
They're still, and I got lodging and everything, and I'm just like,
that's great.
It just messes up for every other hospital I have been to.
I know. No, that's right. Well, Keshawn, we so glad that you came on today, and I just met you today, and I'm thankful that you were willing to jump on to an interview. We were connected through a mutual friend, Mark Mitchell. He's like, give him a call. And I'm like, all right. So thank you so much for coming on the Founders Podcast. Again, people can find you, you said, on LinkedIn.
Keshawn Cupid, Keshawn, Cupid as the Valentine's guy, Cupid.
And your website, ModernKaizen.com.
Yeah, right. And Modern Kaizen also on LinkedIn.
Modern Kaizen on LinkedIn. Follow his page. Go to the website. Hit him up. Connect with him on LinkedIn, ladies and gentlemen. We're so thankful for him being on the show. Once again, thank you for tuning into the Founders Podcast. We have another episode in the books. If you haven't liked this podcast, go ahead and like the video. Also, subscribe to the channel. Share this out. And hey, if you are interested in what Keshawn is doing, make sure to get in touch with him. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you all. Have a great day. Peace.
Yep. Thank you, sir.